Okay, picture this. You start a video game as a level 1 character. You're clumsy with a wooden sword, scared of the dark, and pretty much just hoping nothing goes horribly wrong. But by the end of the game, you've battled fierce monsters, solved mind-bending puzzles, found courage you didn't even know you had, and now you're a hero with sparkly armor and epic skills. You didn't just level up. You became someone new, shaped by every challenge, and it was in you all along. Now think about yourself for a second. Have you ever changed your mind about something big? Like realizing you were wrong about someone, or finding out that you could be way braver than you ever thought? Remember, characters in stories go through changes too, just like real people. When something important happens in a story, it can change how a character thinks, feels, and acts. This journey of change is called a character arc. A character arc is the path a character travels as they learn lessons, face challenges, and become someone different, usually stronger, wiser, or braver by the end of the story. At the beginning of a story, a character usually has certain beliefs about themselves or the world around them. But as the story moves along, something happens. A problem, a challenge, or a tough decision that makes the character question what they believe. Like in Peter Pan. Remember how Wendy thought she didn't want to grow up? After spending time in Neverland, she realized it's something she had to do, and leaving childhood behind was a natural part of life. Every great story has problems that challenge the character. The middle of the character arc is full of struggles. This is where the character's old ways of thinking don't seem to work anymore. The character might feel confused, scared, or even want to give up. This is important because without problems, there's no reason to change. The challenges force the character to grow stronger, think differently, or discover a new part of themselves they didn't know they had. This is where they start to question what they believe and begin to change. By the end of the story, the character has changed in an important way. They've learned something about themselves or the world. Maybe they've become braver, more honest, more trusting, or more determined. This change is what makes the story satisfying to the reader. It shows that the adventure mattered, not just because exciting things happened, but because the character grew into a better version of themselves. Remember the hero's journey? That's what it's all about. The real treasure isn't just what they find, it's who they become. Now, let's develop Zoe's character arc. At each point in her arc, let's ask ourselves, what is Zoe thinking? What is she doing? What does she want? At the beginning of the story, Zoe completely trusts the AI. In her world, it's totally normal for an AI robot to make decisions for people. What to eat, what to wear, even who to be friends with. Zoe thinks the AI makes life easy and safe, and she doesn't want to stand out or cause trouble. She follows every rule without question, just trying to fit in. Why do you think Zoe trusts the AI so much? Would you feel comfortable letting a robot make decisions for your life? Why or why not? Pause here and jot down your thoughts. I imagine that Zoe wants to fit in, feel safe, and not rock the boat. Zoe could believe the AI is perfect and always right. If that's the case, this tells us she's a rule follower and doesn't see a problem with the way things are. But then, boom, something major happens. This is where I envision her best friend getting hurt because of a choice the AI made. Now maybe Zoe's not so sure anymore. This is where her curiosity starts to lead her to question things. Wait, what if the AI is wrong? What if people should be making their own choices? This turning point could lead her to surprising or different behavior. She might even sneak around to find the truth. How does this show a turning point for Zoe? What kind of change is happening in her thoughts, actions, and motivations? Pause to answer our key questions to help create the middle of Zoe's arc. Now Zoe's starting to change. She's asking questions and thinking for herself. Is she finding a new goal? I think so. It's like a spark of bravery inside her is growing stronger. I want her to go from someone who just follows the rules to someone who trusts herself, speaks up, and helps others take back control. I'm going to add one more moment to show that change in the middle of her story arc. That's a big shift, right? Let's look at what's really going on. What is Zoe thinking? She's starting to question everything instead of just going along like before. She's thinking for herself now, trying to figure out what's right. What is she doing? She's taking action, even breaking a few rules to find out the truth. And what does she want? She wants to protect people and do what's right, even if it means going against the system. That's real character growth. Now we're near the end of Zoe's journey, and she's not the same girl she was at the start. I imagine her facing a big test. Maybe it's... Should she stand up to the AI even if no one else believes her? Yikes, that would take courage. By the end of the story, I want Zoe to be confident and decide I can make good decisions. I have to speak up, even if I'm alone. I picture her sharing the truth and helping people realize they can think and choose for themselves, too. Maybe Zoe is no longer just following the rules. Maybe she's a leader now, someone who trusts herself and helps others do the same. We've worked together to build Zoe's character arc, how she grows and changes throughout the story. Now let's think about the story you're writing. How do you want your character to change by the end? What do they think or believe now that their big problem is solved? What do they care about or want that's different from the beginning? This is your chance to show how your character has grown. Think about what kind of person they are becoming and how the journey has shaped them. Pause here and write down your thoughts. Zoe's character arc shows how a person can change when they face a big problem. At first, she believed something that wasn't true. But as she asked questions and stood up for what she believed in, she became stronger, braver, and wiser. You've learned what a character arc is. You've seen how Zoe changed from start to finish. Now you can practice creating a character arc for either Orion or for Liam. How do you imagine they'll change throughout the story? Then you can use your creativity skills to create a character arc for one or more of the characters in your speculative fiction story. While you create your character arc, I'm going to email pictures of Zoe's character arc to my book agent to get her feedback. I'll see you next time, and until then, keep reading, keep writing, and working toward your goals. Hey.